Times longer at Walmart. Rick Bucher joining us. Sponsored by Mercedes-Benz. The best or nothing. Bukes has been covering the NBA since the early 90s. He's my buddy. All right, here we go. This is a really good time in the NBA because now it's your trading deadline's done. You know, players, you're stuck with where you're at. So you got it. The bottom line, the tape don't lie. You got to play hard. Everybody's stuck with everybody now.
Right.
You know, before the trading deadline, you can call out the coach. There's a lot of game
main pieces. There's still potential for a buyout here or there. You could add a piece, but as far as the core, you are correct.
Okay, so let's go. I had Mark Medina on earlier, and he said something interesting. He said, "Listen, because I like the Clippers, the way they're the construct of the Clippers, but he said, listen, they're not practicing a lot together. The load management." He said, now you got Marcus Morris, another piece. He goes, you know, they really haven't played together very much, whereas the Lakers, by not moving Kuzma, have really found a nice chemistry. When I size up the Clippers and Lakers to you today, who you got in the series and why today?
If they played today? Today would be the Lakers' best chance of making it happen. I still don't think that they would win. And we've seen that from the two times that they've played each other. The Clippers have the wherewithal that when they decide to play and they put everybody out there, they're just a better team. They're a deeper team. The work that Anthony Davis has to do and the number of bodies that the Clippers can throw at him LeBron is going to wear them down. They match up with what the Lakers have as well or better than anybody else in the league. And they have the kryptonite. They have the antidote. Most people don't have the requisite size and athleticism and defensive mentality to match up with both Anthony Davis and LeBron James.
That's where I think Utah is.
The Clippers do.
Yeah, Utah's got everything. They can't match up with LeBron.
Exactly. You have to have a dominant small forward. It's why the Warriors fell off so precipitously and why they were so good before. Because against the small forwards, the best small forwards, we can throw Kevin Durant at you. We can throw Andre Iguodala at you. We can throw Klay Thompson at you. We can throw multiple quality defenders at the heart of what you do. That's what made them special. And when all those guys are gone, now you don't have that thing. It's why you go get Andrew Wiggins, because he at least fits the prototype.
He's an athletic wing who can defend.
At that position, at the small forward.
Yeah, it's interesting. So the Marcus Morris deal, I didn't know if the Lakers wanted him, but I knew they didn't want him with the Clippers. It felt like to me the Lakers were like, okay, you got Patrick Beverly, you got Kawhi and Paul, you got a bunch of guys you can throw at LeBron. The Lakers are smart enough to go, we don't need another guy you can throw at LeBron.
Yeah.
And so, to me, did the Lakers want Marcus Morris, or did they just not want him on the Clippers?
They wanted him, and they did not believe that the Clippers were going to get him.
Wow.
And they didn't think that they had to give up Kyle Kuzma to get him, because there is a beef between Jim Dolan and Steve Ballmer about the building of the arena that Steve Ballmer wants to build a mile away from the Forum.
And
Guess who owns the Forum?
James Dolan.
James Dolan. So they've been, Dolan has filed lawsuits. He's doing everything he can to stop that. The Lakers were convinced, the Knicks aren't trading Marcus Morris to the Clippers. They're not dealing with them. They've got a beef going on. They're not going to help the Clippers. Jim Dolan doesn't want to help the Clippers. We know how the personal vendettas that Jim Dolan has, right? I mean, it's understandable that the Lakers would think that way. So I don't know if they ever really intended to put Kyle Kuzma in the deal. My thought is probably not. But they let the Knicks believe until the 11th hour that they would put Kuzma in the deal. And then, last second, they said, we'll give you Danny Green in 2 seconds. Thinking there's no way they're going to the Clippers. This is all they got. They're not going to go anywhere now, and Dolan wants to move Morris. And the Knicks said, no, we'll go do a deal with the Clippers. Watch us.
Wow.
So Clippers did want to get another body in that rotation because, honestly, if you're playing against JaVale McGee and LeBron James and Anthony Davis, adding there, I mean, look, they don't want to leave anything to chance. They want to make sure that they have everything that they need in their arsenal no matter who they face. And Marcus Morris, look, for me, if I was the Lakers, I would have given up Kyle Kuzma. Because, no, look, I understand how talented he is and what his potential is, but you don't know what he is as a playoff player. Marcus Morris has been in the playoffs 3 of the last 4 years. He's played 30 minutes. He's averaged 30 minutes in 32 games. He shoots over 40% from 3 in the playoffs. And oh, by the way, he's played alongside stars in those playoff games. So he's been that efficient and effective, not being a central piece. He knows how to fill this role. He would have been the ideal piece in my mind if you're really going for it. If the Lakers are really going for it.
But here's the problem. If you get Marcus Morris, and I keep saying this, almost everybody I respect, you included, doesn't think the Lakers could beat the Bucks or the Clippers. I agree. I think they're probably third, and I think they would struggle. I think there are certain teams that could give them, I do think Denver could be a matchup problem. I think Utah can be problematic, stretch them to 6 games in the playoff series. If they don't win this year, what are they next year if they trade Kuzma? They're just old and expensive. I mean, this is what happens with LeBron. Like Doug Gottlieb always says this. There's always that kid in the neighborhood you invite to the party, and all the kids love him. He leaves, the house is a mess.
Right.
Lamps are broken. Everybody is sick. LeBron leaves a franchise.
Yes.
He demands you get old and expensive.
Yes.
And then LeBron leaves, and you're done.
I understand that, and I understand where if you're playing a slightly longer game and you're waiting for Kuzma to develop and he gets some playoff experience and he shows you what you can be, maybe that's the case. But there is the assumption then that Anthony Davis isn't going anywhere, or that what you do this year isn't going to impact his decision. Like if they get knocked out early, does Anthony Davis look at it and say, well, okay, so we're waiting on Kuzma to get better?
You don't think he'd leave? Anthony's not leaving L.A.
I for everything that I've seen with his relationship with LeBron, I would tend to think not. Yes, the relationship is great. But I also know that there are people in Anthony Davis's camp who believe that he should be the star and that he should be the star in a big market. And there are going to be a couple teams in really big markets that are going to afford him that opportunity should he so choose to go that direction.
Okay, we talked about this yesterday. So the key, I'm going to tell you the key to the next dynasty in the NBA.
Okay.
Is Chris Middleton. Okay, now let's listen. You think this is crazy. Look at your reaction.
Joy?
Okay.
I agree because I know where he's going.
Okay, now acknowledge this. Acknowledge this. That if Giannis goes to the Warriors with Steph and Clay and Draymond, they are winning this title. They are going to be an unbelievable basketball team. Okay. Giannis is going to stay in Milwaukee.
I agree.
If he goes to the finals, because they're eventually going to win. But Chris Middleton disappeared about every third playoff game last year. And if they get to the Eastern Conference Finals and Middleton doesn't deliver and they can't get past a veteran, long, well-coached Toronto or a younger but more, I think a little more athletic Boston team with Brad Stevens, and it's because Giannis is dropping 38 and 17 rebounds and Middleton disappears in 2 games. I'm Giannis. I am out. I am done. I'm not waiting on a Texas A&M second-round guy to become Kawhi. If Middleton doesn't deliver in these plays, because last year, you guys kept telling me, oh, it's Middleton. I'm like, yeah, every third game he pops. He disappeared. If Chris Middleton disappears in the Eastern Conference Finals and Giannis is dropping 38 and 17, he's not sticking around. I can get Clay, Steph, Draymond, and me. I'm not losing a series for 4 years.
I was not. First of all, don't put me in with the you guys because I was not singing Chris Middleton's praises to you. We can go back and check the tape. That said, no, I like your theory. I believe that it is misguided when it comes to Giannis Antetokounmpo. I feel as if he is one of those guys who feels beholden to Milwaukee because he feels they built him as much as he built them. I'm saying, I don't believe that he's just going to go running to the most ideal spot. He didn't come up in the AAU culture. He didn't come up in the U.S. culture. He's not built that way. So I don't expect that to be the difference. And this is the one other issue that I have, because this reminds me of all the talk with LeBron in Cleveland. Oh, they can't get LeBron any help in Cleveland. Oh, if they'd only get some players around him in Cleveland. LeBron wasn't everything that he could be in Cleveland. That was as much a factor. And if the Bucks fall short, it won't be all on Chris Middleton. It will be at least in part because Giannis Antetokounmpo wasn't able to do everything that his physical ability should allow him to do. His game will not have matured to the point where he understands how to win, because whether it's Chris Middleton or anybody else, he has enough around him that if he is everything that he can be, they can win a championship. I'm just not sure he's at that point yet.
So you think they play Boston wouldn't be able to stop him? So he would drop. No. He would go 36 and 16.
Yeah,
but Boston's too good that alone will beat them. So Middleton has to drop 24 4 times in a series. He can't just, because we know Giannis is not going to be stopped by Boston. They don't have the personnel in the front court to stop him.
Correct.
So he's going to put up great MVP series numbers.
Right.
But that alone is not beating Boston. By the way, that alone's not beating Toronto, but I think they'll defend him more arduously than Boston could. They have more length.
Toronto is the real kryptonite for Giannis in the Eastern Conference.
I think I just blew your mind that Chris Middleton is the key to the next 5-year dynasty in this league.
You routinely blow my mind. I don't know if this rises to that level that this one does.
By the way, you know I had Charlotte Flair on earlier?
Yeah.
When she walks into the studio, the temperature changed.
Yeah.
You should watch that WWE stuff. I'm not kidding you.
I'm all over it. I also watched the XFL.
What'd you make of it?
I was duly impressed. I was really impressed. And I got to tell you, I think they're going to be disruptors. Hearing the plays, hearing everybody mic'd up, hearing that exchange. Like, the NFL has always had a closed gate when it comes to all that. I found that fascinating.
How about the transparency on the replay?
Yes.
Right behind the guys.
Yes.
Yeah, look at that. Go to that. Go to that.
It was all good. In fact, there was a later, I think they had a technical difficulty because there was a later game, the Guardians game maybe, where you couldn't hear everything. I was like, hey, where is it?
I was impressed too.
Yeah. No, I thought it was well done. Look, I thought the AAF was good football. It just drove me crazy. I didn't know where to find it. The beauty of this is
it's all over the place.
Saturday and Sunday, major networks. Well done.
Can you imagine if Chris Middleton ever watched this show? He'd be like, who's that jerk? I mean, I hope I never bump into Chris Middleton.
Yeah, he's a really nice guy.
I know. He's got a great reputation.
Yeah.
All right. Rick Bucher, Joy Taylor with the news.
No.